श्वेत है धाम, तेज पुंज सत्पुरुष है, तह हंसन विश्राम।
VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang, which is scheduled every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the morning session can listen to the broadcast replay on Sunday evening at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire world an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the pioneer of Vihangam Yoga. If you are interested in learning the technique or want to conduct a program at your place, and for any inquiry related to it, please feel free to write to us at info@vihangamyog.org. That is info@vihangamyoga.org.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang. I am Avinav from Sydney, and I'm excited to bring another week of this wonderful session to all of you. This week we have a super interesting topic, Controlling the Mind, Lesson 2, Food, Drink, and Sleep. And, before we dive in, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, a warm welcome. For those of you who are coming back for another session, thank you for your ongoing support. I know it's lovely for us, to continue to engage in this manner. This is a platform which we as the Vihangam community have put together for all you wonderful listeners. So thank you for joining us. I hope you've all had a great start to the year. It's been obviously many of us coming back from holiday. Some of you may have taken an extended break, which started maybe in mid-December, and you're just getting back into the swing of things. I know myself, I took some time off, and as you start to get back into the routine of life, many things start to come to the foreground again. Sleeping habits, what we eat every day, what we drink every day. If you've had a point in your life where you're trying to optimize for certain things, it may be that you have looked at these three things and wondered, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? And, what are the guidelines by which I should direct myself in these three aspects of life, of food and drink and sleep? So what we take into the body and how much rest we give to the body. And the beautiful thing about things like spiritual science and Vihangam Yoga, which is, we're all here to understand Vihangam Yoga on a deeper level. The most beautiful thing about spirituality and spiritual science is that it is not just the science of understanding yourself. It is also a science which allows us to understand what kind of lifestyle we should lead. What is a balanced lifestyle? What is a healthy lifestyle? How can we be good to our mind, body, and spirit? And, within those three things, within those three things, mind, body, and spirit, each of those things require us to develop different habits. And, even if we look at something like sleep, we all have different sleeping habits. There's different recommendations we hear about. But what does spirituality have to say? What does Vihangam Yoga have to say? What does the Swadhyaya have to say about these different things? So today I'm really excited that, we're here and we're talking about this very important topic. So we'll be joined today by Vijay from the US in a short period of time. And by asking us questions, by thinking through the things we're talking about, you're able to take something away. And that will definitely be our goal for the day. So without further ado, first I'd like to, before we begin unwinding the topic for today, let's start for the welcoming prayers. These are offered in the feet of the master of Vihangam Yoga, and they're known as the Swagat Gan and the Mangal Gan. They're traditional and preparatory devices which set up the environment around us to, really start to introspect, and they set up this environment for us to further progress in our journey. So let's invoke the blessings of the Master.
गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए, अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए। दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए, भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए। खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनहवाइए, जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए, शान आन बचाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए, वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए, विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीतीश्वर अपनाइए, नीतीश्वर अपनाइए।
Thank you for that beautiful composition. With the blessings of the Master, we're now ready to embark on our conversation, discussion, and introspection for the day. As aforementioned, the topic for today is Controlling Mind, Lesson 2, How to Improve on Sleep Qualities and Eating Habits to Help Meditation Practice. As always, as you're thinking through this topic, some of the things we've already talked about, and you're collecting your thoughts, please do share any questions you'd like to be answered on our two avenues, slido.com/VIGOS, which is on your screen just now, as well as a WhatsApp number, which will just be coming on the screen in just a second. So these two are there for you, wonderful listeners. If you want to hear from you, we want you to take away. In the middle of our session, we'll take a short break to listen to a bhajan and re-energize ourselves and just give us a bit of time to reflect on what we've already talked about, after which we'll dive back into our Q&A session and then end with the Shanti part and summary. So just a small change in routine and schedule, just because we really want to give you folks something to think about straight away and then give you some time to think about those things. So without further ado, then I'd like to introduce Vijay Kumar from the US. Vijay is a software engineer by profession. He joined us last week as well. He's been an instructor of Vihangam Yoga for over 13 years now, since 2007. He's taught in many different parts of the world and is currently based in New Jersey, serving as the president of the North American Institute of Vihangam Yoga. So we're very lucky to have him with us today again. I hope you can hear me, VAG. Welcome to today's session.
Yes, absolutely. And it's my privilege to be here again, consecutively talking on controlling mind. Thank you, Abhinavji.
Thank you for joining us again, VG. So, we've got a super interesting topic today on how to improve sleep and eating habits. These things are so vital to, having a healthy lifestyle. Everyone's had their own experiences with this. I'm sure you've had your own personal experiences with these things. Perhaps first, if we could look at eating habits to start with. Before we really understand what we should and shouldn't do, perhaps Virji, if you could explain for me and for the listeners, how do eating habits affect the body, mind, and spirit? What is the relationship between what we eat or what we accept into our body and what it does to our body? And how does that affect things like spiritual practice or meditation?
Sure, absolutely. If you look at the scientific researches, that will give you other view of it. But what I'm going to talk on is in the line with the spirituality and what a yogi experiences while they sit for meditation. Everything in this nature, everything that you see in this creation is made of three fundamental qualities. One is called Satogun, the second one is called Rajogun, and the third one is called Tamogun. So these are three fundamental qualities of everything that exists in this creation. One may have more of Satogun, other one may have more of Rajogun, or something else may have more of Tamogun. Now, what happens when some, let's say, food has more of Tamogun? Tamogun means something that will give you lethargy, laziness, negativity. Rajogun means something that will give you more of excitement, more of, something like courage, excitement, more of energy, those kind of stuff. And Satogun is something that induces you wisdom, peace, control, which is like more in favor of what a meditation needs as a fundamental ingredient within you. So, in that line, now we can understand it very easily. The kind of food you choose, if it has more of tamogun, then of course it is going to cause the obstacles in your practice of meditation. Let's say when you choose to wake up early in the morning, in Brahmahurt time, for accelerating your meditation journey, your spiritual journey, tamogun, the food with the tamogun is going to definitely be an obstacle to you. Slowly, you will start experiencing a kind of struggle with your mind when you eat those kind of food. Whereas when you eat satogun, more of satogun, then it will feel more conducive for you to control your mind and meditate and progress in meditation. So this is how, in a nutshell, the food impact your mind. And that's why it is said, the kind of food you take, the kind of mind you develop. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and as you were explaining that, I was just wondering, the first one you explained, I believe it was Tamogun, which is the one for lethargy, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But the one which is focused around lethargy, it begs the question, like, is there any value to having that quality in the body? Does what does the spiritual science say about? Is it that we need to balance these properties in the body, or is it that we need to develop one more than the other?
No, of course. For example, when you talk about having a good sleep in the night so that your body could repair, it is the tamogun that help you to just take proper rest and then relax your body. It is that state in which you just disengage and then just relax. So each of these property will remain as long as you are in this creation. When you are tied up to the body, you just cannot nullify these trigunas when you are in this nature. But spirituality, when you talk about the higher state of Vihangam Yoga, where it talks about you being a spirit, not the body. When we reach to that level of realization, not at the intellect level, but from that level, then there is no question of even balancing these three trigunas, because eventually you go beyond these trigunas, because you as a spirit does not have these gunas in you. So while you are in this nature, it is just about having the right balance, depending on what kind of duties you are in, one property, or what kind of act you want to get into, one or the other property is needed to help you in that kind of actions. Yep. So
Right,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, just to conclude, maybe if in the context of meditation, of course we need to have more of satogun if you really want to focus on progressing in meditation journey. Satogun is your friend.
Yeah, lovely. That makes a lot of sense. So, in essence, we want to achieve a balance, while, well, be, you know, these properties are going to stay with us no matter what we do, but we obviously want to maximize one of them for the benefit of meditation practice. And I wonder then, as we're thinking about this, what does the Swadhyaya, what does the spiritual science of Vihangam Yoga say about what our diet should look like then, in order to achieve this?
Absolutely, yeah. So Swarved is a book which is the expression of a realized, a Brahmagyani Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. During his 17 years of meditation journey, right from controlling mind to the God realization to the salvation, he attained all the experience in his heart and poured it into the book called Swarved. So he spoke every minor details about what is needed to make your meditation progressive day by day. And he spoke about the diet as well. He said that, for assistance in controlling mind, we must choose the diet which is, you know, sattvic, more of sattvic in nature, which is like less fried, juicy, nutritious, easily digestible, and quantity wise it should be light, you know not even more than required, because the quantity of food also then causes sufficient amount of other property also to come to your body. So quantity also has to be balanced such that only adequate amount of satogun comes into your body, and the other gun that is coming into your body with those food are still in controlled quantity. So Sadgurudev writes in Swarved in fourth mandal, eighth chapter, he covers different, minor details about even uh, going into the level of what exact food you should choose. And he describes that the wheat, the pumpkin, the perval, there's a leafy food. He then sprouted moong and grams. He spoke about all that, which is very sattvic in nature. He said about fruits, the milk. He described. I would recommend that those interested to go into those details should definitely order Swarved book and read for yourself. There's lot many details put over there. So these are the food which are easily digestible, light, sattvic, nutritious, and make sure that the cooking style should be not with too much of oil, not too much of masala, but it should be juicy food, easily digestible. Thank you.
Yeah, and if we were to kind of dig into that a little more, so we're talking about things like fried and oily food that's excessively spiced. If you go outside to, if we're talking about, say, Indian cuisine, and I don't want to suggest that every place is like this, but often for myself, if I'm out with friends and I'm going to an Indian restaurant or any kind of restaurant, these three things become very pronounced parts of going outside and eating food. There's a lot of fried food, there's a lot of oiled food, a lot of heavily spiced food. Not everywhere, of course. There's obviously great places out there as well. But what effect does this have on the body? Like, we know in modern science, we hear about how these things will lead to the production of fat, and that will lead to more adverse effects if you continue that pattern. In terms of a spiritual experience and spiritual practice, if you were to just take something like fried food or excessively spiced food, why does that affect the control of mind? Is it just to do with the properties you spoke about earlier, like it releases certain properties and then that makes it very hard to control the mind, or is it something else?
Right. So So, of course, the impact of the food is not only on the mind, but also on your body. You want to feel light with your body, and, uh, uh, in your body, if the certain kind of food causes laziness, you will feel heavy, heavy in your body. You will feel those lethargy really not only in your mind but in your body as well. Your body will not be that agile as it should be, not as energized, not as energetic as you want it to be when you eat such a heavily oiled, excessively spiced food. So yes, the impact is at the physical level and the mental level, such that when you want to sit for long in meditation, with cross-folded leg, you definitely don't want to be disturbed by the troubles in your belly or in your leg. You want to be as agile, as flexible with your body as possible, so that when you sit for meditation, the very fundamental thing for a successful meditation is to be able to sit peacefully, joyfully in asana when you sit for meditation, which is what is not possible if we don't control these diet. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And, as we're, starting to understand this better, so we've started to understand the things we should avoid and the things that we should have. So more like fresh, juicy, natural foods. For a person right now who's thinking to themselves, okay, like there's some parts of my diet which I want to change. What guiding principles would you suggest that they embark on? So, would it be pick certain foods and eat them to a point where you're still where you're not hungry anymore, but you're not full? What are the principles that the spiritual science gives us that we can then apply back to our life?
Right, this is a very fantastic question. Sadhgurudev has exactly spoke about this in Surveyed. He has mentioned that it's, and the same thing applies with the sleep also. He said that the quantity of food as well as sleep should be very balanced, very adequate, neither less nor more. And he still said it should be alp. Alp means it should be at the minimum level, which is still sufficient for you to gain all the nutritions that you want for the healthy body, for healthy living. So when you're done eating, you should not feel fully stuffed, but you should still feel light, as if you still have scope of having some more food. But if you chew it properly, if you take time, ideally, even doctor says that if you chew 32 to 40 times every bite, you will easily satisfy your brain, and the signals will reach to the brain adequately for you to stop feeling hunger, because your body actually doesn't need it more than that. But when we eat very quick, that is when, before the signal reaches to the brain, we have already eaten so much. So the if we, even though don't think so much, just follow the proper chewing pattern, that chew, take time, spend time chewing with the food for, let's say, 32 to 40 times, then your body itself, your body, brain, mind itself will tell you when to stop. You don't even have to calculate that.
Yeah, that's such a comforting thing to know. And yeah, and I'd also mention just this point that it's a continuous process. So as you've just beautifully explained, Virji, there's certain things that we want to aspire towards. Making sure that we eat an ulp amount, which is a balanced amount, which is not too much nor too little. It's sufficient. And the key thing here is sufficiency will obviously depend on your body. So, please don't walk away from today and start to, eat half of what you ate yesterday. It's in the spiritual sciences, and correct me if I'm wrong, BAG, we definitely, have things we want to aspire towards, but we recommend taking small steps. So immediate changes is not exactly what the spiritual masters seem to convey to us, per my understanding. I don't know if that matches up with your understanding, BAG.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Yeah. It has to be very natural. It has to be very gradual. And everybody is different. So you have to notice your alp praman. What is your alp? That's sufficient quantity. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. So I think we've had a good discussion about eating habits here. I just want to take a short break and allow us to take in a bhajan from Ramji over in India. After which we'll come back and let's regroup and let's talk about drink and sleep. Maybe more about sleep because that's a very important topic as well. But in terms of eating habits, folks, as we heard from VAG just now, and we'll discuss it further, of course. There's certain things we want to aspire towards. We want to make sure that we're eating a sufficient amount, and that the things we're eating are easily digestible. They're juicy foods, they're fresh foods, they're nutritious foods. Trying to stay away from fried and oily foods. And if you're meditating, then, as VAG mentioned, you will notice the differences. So definitely experiment and gradually see. And, I have personally tried to, tussle with these concepts myself, and I've experienced that there is a difference. And it's not nothing special. It doesn't make me special. I think everyone experiences this. So it's actually really cool if you can, go away from today and experiment with these things and see if you experience those same things. So we'll be back with you, VAG, in just like a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for more, everyone. But for now, let's go toward a bhajan from Ram Avtarji, who is formerly from Singapore but is currently based in India. So he'll be sharing a short bhajan with us, after which we'll come back and continue our discussion.
स्वरूप निज चीन्ह के बंद जग तोड़ी के अपने लोक को चलो ए भाई अशुद्धि अष्ट चक्र को जाओ ब्रह्मांड में शून्य में ज्योति तहाँ जगमगाई चाचरी भूचरी अगोचरी छाड़िक उन मुनि खेचरी पार जाई ररंकार ओमकार सोहम छूटे शक्ति को त्यागी सत शब्द पाई पोलव घारी के मकर डोरी धरो ब्रह्म विभुद्युति को देख जाई पुरुष स्वरूप की कौन महिमा कहूँ सूर्य असंख्य तेजो लजाई वाही को पाइया ताप जग छूटिया मुक्त होय आनंद पाई कहीं सदा फल भेद दुर्लभ लहे कोटि में जोहरी एक पाई Sadhguru Srila Faldev Ji Maharaj addresses his disciples that they must realize their pure self as a soul and follow the path of self-realization taught by the great Vihangam Yoga, brought and bestowed in this present world among us lucky ones by the great Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj himself. Swamiji says that all of us should break the chains and limitations that ties us and hold us back from following the path of self-realization, which would enable us to realize and reach the ultimate state of consciousness. Swamiji says, within our body we have different energy centers, so-called chakras, as stated as Muladhar, Swadhisthana, Manipur. A technique and a scientific process of meditation which helps the yogi to reach the state of Brahmand, which is also the area above neck. Swamiji says, within this Brahmand, the yogi then covers a path of 5 places or spots which are having 5 distinct lights of its own. The great yogi Sadguru Shri Sadafal Devji Maharaj preaches all his disciples to pass through these stages of 5 lights, commonly addressed as mudras, the so-called chachri, bhujri, agochri, and then the yogi should bring his consciousness to the door of Brahm, the Dasham Dwar, the Brahmarandra, and even rise beyond that. Swamiji addresses to his disciples that through this door of Brahmarandra, one can leave behind this materialistic world and reach to the sounds of cosmos, leaving behind the Niranjans, the Om, the Soham, the Shakti and the Nirankar, and that a Vihangam yogi should finally submerge in the Satya Shabd, the Sachidanand, the ultimate bliss called God, and experienced by the most ancient science of Vihangam Yoga, the conscious light of the Supreme Being. Swamiji says that the 10th door within our body, referred as the Dasham Dwar, should be opened by following the path and the teachings of Sadguru, and holding the string attached to the heart which connects the cosmos, also addressed as the Makar Dori. One can reach the Supreme Soul. Once the soul connects with the experiencing cosmos and the Supreme Being, also referred as Brahm, the soul starts to realize the cosmic light within itself. Swamiji says that there are no words or limits to describe this bliss of cosmic consciousness. Even the light which is emitted by 1000 sun would be less in comparison to this. Attaining the state and meeting the Supreme Being helps a yogi to overcome all and any type of concerns in their life, irrespective of materialistic or from spiritual aspect. The soul is liberated from all the bondages and attains the freedom referred as salvation or mukti. Swamiji concludes by saying that this path of Vihangam Yoga is known and followed by a very few, and compare these followers of Vihangam Yoga as jewelers who know how to identify a true diamond. In a similar way, a yogi of such stature would know what pure Vedic science of yoga would understand and would know the aspects of Vihangam Yoga accordingly. Thank you. Jai Sadgurudev.
Thank you, Ramji, for that very detailed explanation. For those of you who have come across some of those concepts for the first time, there's quite a, this bhajan is a short bhajan, but a very deep bhajan, which really encapsulates the entire journey of spirituality. And as Ramji very beautifully explained, the different aspects of this bhajan, the different concepts involved, we at VOGOS are slowly and definitely slowly and gradually diving into each of those. So if there are particular parts of this bhajan which you identified with more, or you want to understand on a deeper level, please do share those things with us. We're always looking to see what you want to hear about, and these bhajans are an opportunity to understand that as well. So thank you again, Ramji, for that beautiful bhajan, and more so for even that wonderful explanation. So let's get back to our conversation. Again, our topic of the day is Controlling Mind, Lesson 2, How to Improve on Sleep Qualities and Eating Habits to Help Meditation Practice. We had a short conversation before the bhajan with VAG about eating habits. We came to understand a few principles there. And now, we want to unpack sleep. So perhaps first, VAG, you touched on this a little bit earlier. What are the effects of sleep on the three things which we really are talking about today, the body, mind, and spirit? What does sleep contribute to our health across these three domains, and how does it help us in meditation practice?
Sure. So I'm back again. Talking about sleep, first of all, let's think this way. If you have been given only 24 hours each day, of course, we would like to economically use it for the goal that you are pursuing for. Now, if you're sleeping more than required, the valuable time is just going west because you did not require more than that. But even though you do that, if you sleep more than required, not only you are going to develop the the problem with your health in the sense that you become less susceptible to bear, let's say, the bad twist in your body and all that, because you're just sleeping and making your body more fragile if you're sleeping more than required. When you sleep for longer time, you will wake up with some pain in your, let's say, the lower back or in your shoulder, because you kept your body in certain posture more than required. And of course, anything in excess is always going to be harmful to you. So is with the sleep. Not only it is harmful to the body when you keep it in certain posture for more than required, it is also harmful to your mind, because with excessive sleep you are just making your mind more um, attracted to the rest than the action. You are inviting more tamogun again by sleeping more than required. So whenever there is a need of the hard work, we call in adhyatmic, in spiritual term, purusharth or tap, where you have to really show the courageous actions and really act on it with hard work, with dedication. If you are in the habit of sleeping a lot, this habit is nothing but a reflection of you nurturing the laziness in your body. It is just about nurturing the habit which is against the nature of being a hardworking. So, in a nutshell, you are increasing tamogun. You are not nurturing the rajogun or the satogun if you are sleeping more than required, which is not good even for your day to day life, not good for meditation as well.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to if you're listening in, you're probably starting to see a similarity in the conversation we had about eating habits. In that there's this concept of too little or too much, and this idea of moderation and finding this kind of middle point is one which is very pronounced in spiritual science and Vihangam Yoga. And as you mentioned, VAG, too little sleep will make you very unhealthy. It will disrupt your digestive system, which will, if you're a student of Ayurveda, disruption of the digestive system is the most detrimental and the source of all ailments in the body, per Ayurvedic science. But even putting that aside, even if you just look at your daily life, I remember when I was in high school, in university, those weeks when I would really push myself to study more and sleep less, I would feel very fatigued and unhealthy at the end of those periods. So, as Vijay is explaining here, and I could personally attest to this in my own life, as what it was like. So, in terms of sleep and what the principles are around it in the Swarved and in Vihangam Yoga, how would you explain them to us, Vijay? Is there a certain amount of sleep which the Swarved guides us on? Is there perhaps some tests we can have, we can undergo on a daily basis, like maybe looking.
Survey says that your body is made of the natural elements, and if you go with the nature, then automatically you will find a perfect sleep, only adequate enough required to nourish your body, to cure your body, heal your body, and you'll wake up as the nature wakes up. So what Sadgudev says is what you have been hearing in proverb as well, that early to bed and early to rise makes a man, woman, and everybody healthy, wealthy, and wise. So it is important that go with the nature. When the nature is setting into evening, into night, so you also slow down your actions, prepare yourself to go to bed. So the perfect timing would be something around 10:30. If you are into your bed, then in early morning, timely, you will be awake fresh. And for that, he also says there's a correlation with the food, the dinner that you take. Sadhgudev writes in Swarved in third mandal 7th chapter. uh, he says, भोजन अल्प प्रमाण से नहीं, अधिक नहीं घाट, सात्विक शुद्ध स्वभाव में आलस निद्रा पाठ. So when the food you take is more of sattvic, pure, and it is in the minimum quantity in the dinner time, that to about, let's say, 2 hours before bed, automatically the excessive sleep that people get into just because of the heaviness in the belly, just because of the laziness in the body, will not come into play, because you have eaten 2 hours in advance, 2 to 2.5 hour in advance, and that too in the minimum quantity needed. And the food that you ate was more of sattvic in nature. So in all together, you are going to reduce the laziness which was causing you excessive sleep. So your body will automatically find uh, the balance, and not only you'll get very good quality sleep just by controlling your diet in the night, but you will also wake up in time, saving a lot of time out of your sleep itself. And we are also going to talk several other technique which is going to improve your sleep qualities. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's dive into those actually, because we're starting to understand the importance of sleep and what some of the things we should do before sleep. So we mentioned dinner should ideally be lighter, and be about 2 hours before you sleep. Uh, what about before sleep? Like, are there certain things that we should do, we should aim to do, which will help us have higher quality sleep? Because as we've all experienced, sometimes you go to bed, you wake up 6 hours later, you feel super refreshed. Sometimes you go to bed, you wake up 7 hours later, you feel like you need to sleep again because you just didn't have a good sleep. You were disturbed during the night. You woke up a few times. Is there certain things that the yogis have, and the masters, the spirituality have given us that can help us, maximize quality of sleep?
Right, absolutely. If you try to understand what's going on which is stopping you to go to bed, or even though you're on the bed but stopping you to get a quality sleep, you will notice it's nothing but the the enemy which is just the closest to you. It has turned to be enemy. It was supposed to be friend, but it has turned to be enemy, and that is called the mind, the restless mind. Our mind is so restless even when we go to bed and we are trying to take a nap. It is not letting us, because it clings with the thought. It just keeps on bombarding one or the other thought, uh, and we are not getting naps. So the yogic technique come handy in this scenario, and there are certain technique of breathing, or the the best thing is the technique of meditation, which is to just relax the mind, disengage the mind from all those thoughts. And once you relax your mind, if your body is tired, automatically you will then go into sleep. So I'm going to share some of those breathing technique. You can try one or the other. it One or the other will work with you for sure if you just experiment with these. The first technique is 8-16-32 breathing. 8-16-32. These are the three numbers. What does it say? It says first you sleep flat, on your back, and concentrate on your breath for 8 times. Then you flip to the right, and basically right in the sense that your right hand is beneath and the left hand is up. So you flip to that side, and you concentrate on your breath for 16 times. Is up. So you are in that left side, and you start concentrating on your breath, and you count your breath for 32 times. When I'm saying counting your breath, it means, you know, for each inhalation and exhalation, you increase your count once. So by 8-16-32, meaning flat, then right, and then left. When you practice this for, let's say, a few days, 1 week, you would find that after a week or maybe 10 days, you won't even reach the count of 32. Prior to that itself, you'll feel as if you never notice when you stopped counting, and you are already in the sleep. If this doesn't work out well, there is another technique called Yog Nidra. In Yog Nidra, you just sleep flat, and then just run your consciousness from your toes to the head. First the right side of your body, and then the left side of your body. You just focus, disengage yourself from everything else, in this world, and engage completely with your body control. And of course, if you're tired, you will never know when you fall asleep. This will certainly help you to fall asleep, and that too with very good quality. Now, if you learned meditation, for example, in Vihangam Yoga, we have 5 stages of meditation technique. And whichever level you are in, meditation does one thing beyond what these breathing technique can take you to. What meditation does, it slowly enhances your sleep quality to the extent that you will start noticing that the quantity of sleep has started reducing. If, for example, you are sleeping for 8 hours, if you choose to meditate, for example, if you want to learn Vihangam Yoga meditation level 1, there's a link in the description in the YouTube broadcast. You can request to learn the Vihangam Yoga meditation. One of the instructor will work with you as a service, and they will teach you how to meditate. So if you learn meditation and practice this on the bed before you sleep, you just sit and meditate for about 10 minutes and you go to sleep. When you wake up, in the morning also, you prepare for the meditation. So 2 times a day minimum, if you meditate on daily basis, this is going to do magic with you. Your investment of 20 minutes of time in meditation is going to buy you maybe initially half an hour from your sleep, then 1 hour from your sleep. It may buy you 2 to 3 hours from your sleep. So this is worth investing 20 minutes if it is going to buy you, more than couple hours to you just out of the sleep. Sadhgurudev describes it, the master describes it in Swarved. He says, Kramsah nidra jitiye karo niyam abhyas, chetan mandal pahunchkar nidra hoye vinas. He says that as you gradually progress in the higher level of meditation, this sleep will even reduce so much that though you will just be flat on the bed, your body is doing all the healing, all the stuff that a sleep is supposed to do. But y- it is still, the sleep also is in your control, and slowly you win over your sleep. Whenever you want, you can wake up with all freshness. And there's a level in meditation when you just win completely over sleep. This is what is the glory of meditation. Beyond that, there are a lot many things that scientists have also discovered. Because we have no time left, so I'm just going to uh, share what scientists have also said, that if you keep your room temperature optimal, which is like little cooler side, 68 degree Fahrenheit, for example, your body and brain need to drop temperature for inducing the sleep. And this is what happens when you have, let's say, 68 degree Fahrenheit in your room. So that definitely helps in getting good quality sleep. Also, before going to bed, of course, you have to avoid spending time in front of LED screens, phones and all. At least an hour before, you should be off from all these LED screens. You may spend time reading books, that's still okay, in fact recommended, but definitely no LED screens. So these are the technique which is going to help you in getting good quality sleep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, VAG. As you mentioned, we're running out of time, but I think we've all got some things to take away there. So thank you again for joining us this week. I'm looking forward to continuing our discussions in subsequent weeks. But thank you for sharing all those thoughts with us today. And we look forward to having you on again.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go toward the Shanti part. And after that, let's go toward a quick summary of this week and look forward to the coming week.
विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवा जित शिष्य शांति हो, सद्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
So this brings us toward the end of another week on the Vihangam Global Online Satsang. This week's topic, as we discussed, was Controlling Mind, Lesson 2, How to Improve on Sleep Qualities and Eating Habits to Help Meditation Practice. So, today I hope you all have something to take away. The key thing here really, from what we heard from Vijay Ji, to summarize, is that the biggest skill that spirituality gives us, and it affords us and tries to cultivate within us, the more we meditate, the more we imbibe this lifestyle into our lives, it's this sense of understanding what we need, and not doing too much, not doing too little of that thing. We heard about how food, if we eat too much, can make us lethargic. If we eat too little, it can make us malnourished and unhealthy. If it's sleep, the same thing happens. We become unhealthy. If we're too little, too much, we become lazy. The principles of spirituality really cut through all of these things and there's some things very clear, that we need to understand ourselves better. And the way we're going to do that is by practices like meditation, eating in a healthy way, sleeping in a healthy way, and listening to ourselves. So this connection which we have between our body, mind, and soul, it's one that goes so deep that the spiritual masters have given us a framework to live our lives as well. So I hope you've all been able to take something away today. Please do remember the thing we discussed at BAG, that all changes in life should be small steps. Let's just take a pledge for the next week to make one small change and see how that plays out and experience it for ourselves. Let's see how that changes our meditation practice. Let's see how it changes our day-to-day life. So thank you for joining us this week. And I look forward to bringing you another week next week, Controlling Mind, Lesson 3. So thank you, everyone. Have a great week ahead. Jai Sukhdev.